Right, so yesterday, on the instructions of the new owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, Twitter dismissed about half of its workforce. We don't know the numbers in the UK, but I've read unconfirmed reports in the newspapers that it's in the low hundreds. So is Twitter allowed to do that? Are they allowed to just dismiss people by email without any advanced warning? Well, the answer is no. But if Twitter pay the correct level of compensation, there's not much that anyone can do about it. So what rights do employees have in this situation? Well, everybody who is dismissed by Twitter has the right to notice pay. The notice pay amount will be set out in their employment contracts, but there's a legal minimum of a week for each year you've worked, up to a maximum of 12 weeks for 12 years. On top of that, everybody who is made redundant or dismissed by Twitter in these circumstances is entitled to an award for Twitter's failure to comply with a legal obligation to consult with either trade unions or elected employee representatives arising from the impending redundancies. That is a legal right that arises if an employer is thinking about dismissing more than 20 people within a 90-day period. And we're assuming more than 20 Twitter UK employees were dismissed, although we don't know the exact numbers. The penalty for not consulting with a union or elected employee representatives is up to 90 days' pay for each employee who's dismissed. And in this situation, with the complete absence of any consultation and the high profile way in which this was done, including locking people out from Slack and from their accounts, they probably are looking at 90 days pay each and not less. Also, anybody who's been dismissed who has more than 2 years' employment will be entitled to a statutory redundancy payment. That's basically a week's pay for each complete year they've worked. It's adjusted a little bit depending on the age of the person. And they're also, in theory, if they've been working for 2 years or more, entitled to unfair dismissal compensation, because beyond doubt, this will be an unfair dismissal. However, Twitter would have a decent defence to the unfair dismissal claim, arguing that had a proper consultation process been gone through, the employees would have been dismissed, albeit a few weeks later, say 4 weeks, 6 weeks later, for a proper consultation process, which limits the unfair dismissal compensation to about 4 or 6 weeks' pay. So they get notice pay. They get unfair dismissal compensation and a statutory redundancy payment if they've worked for more than 2 years. They get probably 90 days pay for the failure to collectively consult. That adds up to a fair bit of money. Each employee will have that claim against Twitter. I've heard, it's being reported, that Twitter are paying lump sums to compensate. Now, in America, again, this is all unconfirmed. It's just what's in the newspapers. It's all rumours in the newspapers. But in America, apparently the amount being paid is 2 months' pay. That wouldn't be enough here because the 90 days protective award for failure to consult properly would exceed 2 months' pay. And it doesn't even take into account redundancy, unfair dismissal, statutory redundancy payment and notice pay. But I would be astonished if Twitter didn't work out what the claims are and just pay them as a lump sum, which effectively removes the rights of the individuals to claim, because they'd be claiming for nothing if they've been fully paid the amounts they'd get if they did claim. It's what P&O did. Remember P&O earlier in the year? P&O dismissed a load of people, hundreds and hundreds of ferry workers, and they simply paid the monies that they knew would flow from the tribunal claims that would follow, as a result of which the tribunal claims didn't follow because the workers had been paid all the compensation they would have got. I imagine, although we don't know yet, that Twitter are going to do exactly that.